I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch.
All right, so down in the corner here, is the Lone Rider. Yep. He has put together a dope stream for us tonight.
Is that what it's called? The dope
Well,
stream?
he said I wanted it to be a dope stream, so I chose my favorite form of music, nu metal, before I started working my butt off again. So I just want to have some fun, and so these are my song choices.
Take off the, what do you call it?
Oh, echo?
Yeah. Gang, what's up? Vin, your mic is a little echoey. This is actually Sori's mic, actually.
I have to unplug this.
Okay, we're going to off in a second. We're still here, though. We're still here. Tech issues right off the bat. Going to be a good stream. I think you guys can still hear me here, right? Don't worry.
It is disabled.
It is? Shiza. Okay, well, plug it in, come back. We'll fix it. They say it sounds better now, so what can you do?
But the camera was unplugged.
I'm back. It's back on.
And
The camera's back on.
it said disabled, so.
Let me know if if you guys still hear the echo. It should be a good stream. Okay, Kopi says it's better now.
Oh, well, good.
So
You like my flat ironed hair?
it's okay.
It's just okay.
It's
I used my new flat iron.
it's
Oh, you're not really a
It
fan?
looks nice. It looks nice.
All right. So we are going to hop into this is Spineshank-New Disease.
Yeah.
And he said it's a dope sounding song that I feel is a good jumping off point for this stream. So here we are.
I'm Death fan. Oh my God, that guy. Tina Biggs in the house. Hopefully the echo's done. That pic from it looks like. Remember we were watching all that metaverse stuff? Didn't that look like what he'd look like in the metaverse? Yeah. I gotta have a.
That's true.
That's
great.
I gotta have a metaverse avatar.
Me too.
All right.
I'm gonna have Pony create mine.
What'd you say?
I said I'll have Pony create mine. She always makes some
I know.
really beautiful looking women. I'll take one. I want a fun avatar.
All she'd have to do is just do you. Good Lord. All right, guys. The first song is Spineshank-New Disease, and of course, that's the one that didn't get downloaded all the way. Of course.
Oh, well. So that means I have time to chit chat with you guys.
Yeah.
How do you guys like the thumbnails as of late for the channel? One of our kids has been creating them, and I'm pretty sure she's enjoying adding in all the extra drama onto the thumbnails.
There's extra drama in the thumbnail?
Yeah, like this one. Look, it's like, it shows like here, bad. I have horns and a tail. You're good with a halo over your head.
Wait, who's good? Me?
Yeah, you're the good one. I'm the bad one.
I mean, of course.
Sure.
Of course. I mean, I think anybody that knows, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
And if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, if you don't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying?
Baby. Is
You
that
know what I'm
it says?
saying?
Isn't that the song?
Huh?
And then doesn't he say, baby?
No.
That's a different song?
Yeah.
Baby, baby. It's another one.
If it's big, you just say, baby, baby, and that'll
baby.
probably be it. That'll be it for you.
All right, you guys. As soon as I can, find my way to you live.
You find your way to the people.
Yeah, I was like I've been uploading so
Find
many
my way.
videos. Whoop. All right. I know. Anthony, that's exactly what I told Vinny. I'm
What?
like, yo, he's like,
two of the
it's
three
fitting
songs.
today. There's a live stream for me since 2 of the 3 songs you posted today were from my last
Yeah, it's
stream.
his day. It's his day,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
All right. Looking like the Star Trek generic crew member. The shirt.
You do look like you're Star Trek.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Nah, it's that Janeway. That's Commander Janeway, I think her name was.
That's funny. Like, I feel like I've been buying like such weird shirts, and then all of a sudden I realized, like that other one, I'm like, I look like a coach. Now I look like somebody
You
from
should
Star
Google
Trek.
It's Commander Janeway. She had the
Wait, I'm
baddest
pretty sure I
name
can
too. She had the baddest name in the world.
Can
What are
do
you
it?
doing? That was Spock, bro.
Doesn't matter. It's
Live
still
like-
Star Trek.
Star Trek, not
Or Star
track.
Trek,
Allah Akbar.
whatever.
No, it absolutely matters.
Okay,
like Spock is I don't know what Spock is.
It doesn't matter. I've got the right. Most times you guys talk about stuff and I don't have a friggin' clue.
I know. How do you even know about that?
My
They let
father
you watch-
watched it.
I'll never understand. I
I
what
know
the
the algorithm
algo
of my
was.
family.
No.
It was just what they wanted to do. They did.
Shut up.
Oh, right.
All right, then.
Moving right along.
Vulcan. That's right. See, live long and prosper. Shout out to all the Vulcans in the world, and shout out to all the.
This one's so easy, and this one is so difficult. And I'm right-handed too. That should be the easy hand, right?
Why?
Well, it's your right hand. It seems like it should be easier to do what you want.
I don't know about that.
Like the left, it's like. But you know what? Actually, true story. I was left-handed when I was a child, and my mother kept forcing my pen to the right hand. So no wonder the left is so easy.
That's why you're so traumatized.
I am. That's where my trauma began. Why must I? Why must I write with my right hand instead of my left, Mother? Why? Because we don't want you to have pen on your hand
Did you
if you
really
write
say
with your
that?
left.
Did you ask her that? Like, hey, what's the deal? Why do I have to do that?
No, I just remember being in school and practicing with my left and just being like, I didn't know she had done that. But I was like, I don't know, I just feel something when I do with my left. But it was crappy handwriting, so my right was crappy enough, so I couldn't.
Back in the day, that'd get you.
That's child abuse.
That would have got you right to the stake, my guy.
What, if you were left-handed?
You being all beautiful and left-handed.
That's true.
You would have been finished.
She's a witch.
Guys, here
All
we go.
right.
Song number 1, Spineshank-New Disease.
Boom, boom, boom.
DJ Tony the
Anthony,
Lone Rider. Let's
The
go.
Lone Rider. The freaking Lone Rider. What happened?
That was the shortest song in the world. Let's try this again. Just as I was about to vibe to that joint.
Well, you know what? The name of the song is New Disease. So. Babe.
Okay, so that copy must not be a very good copy. At least the one that I got. Stand by.
Get out and say.
More
That's
technical
crazy because
difficulties.
it's
Holy
like
smokes.
literally right when the lyrics are starting.
I know, like right as his shit is about to get.
Yeah, right as I'm about to make a decision. Because I usually make a decision within the first 10 seconds about a song.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's pretty fast. There's now that
You're
I just
horrible.
I got rid of Apple Music on my phone like a long time ago because I didn't want to pay the $10 a month. And then I decided I'm so sick of YouTube ads that I was like, I'm either going to buy the thing so I don't have ads on YouTube or I'm going to go back to Apple Music. And I decided to go with Apple Music. And there's so many options in there for music to like discover and listen to.
You don't say.
I'm literally feeling lost. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So anyway, I click on a song and like it's got 10 seconds to please me. Otherwise, I skip to the next. Go to the back. Back to the back.
Serve me, human.
Yeah. I figured out the best way to like explore all these types of music.
Well, there's these things called like reaction channels. People like listen to stuff and you know what I'm saying?
Weird.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
All right, guys.
You got it?
Here we go. Let's try again.
I'm turning that up.
Realize that I'm nothing I wanted to be. I can never change anything I've done because it's the only thing I have left. Blame myself again for what I didn't do. Never even knew it was coming from me. It changed the way I felt. The worst is yet to come because I have gone too far now. Nobody changed my mind, and it leads me to a new disease. Somebody let it die, but it still becomes a new disease. Is this all worth what this has done to me? Watered down my senses and turned them on me. Fuck morality and everything I know. If I didn't hate it, then I couldn't go. Impersonate myself for what I used to be. Denial is all that's left now. Nobody changed my mind, and it leads me to a new disease. Somebody let it die, but it still becomes a new disease. Nobody changed my mind, and it leads me to a new disease. Somebody let it die, but it still becomes a new disease. Dazing in my head, I'm suffering instead. I can't remember why this meant so much to me. Did I ever want this? It's all I could have been. It's all I would have been now. Did I ever want this? It's all I could have been. It's all I'll ever be. Dazing in my head, I'm suffering instead. I can't remember why this meant so much to me. Nobody changed my mind, and it leads me to a new disease. Somebody let it die, but it still becomes a new disease. Nobody changed my mind, and it leads me to a new disease. Somebody let it die, but it still becomes a new disease. But it still becomes a new disease. But it still becomes a new disease.
That was song one. Seems you enjoyed that
Spineshank-New
immensely.
Disease. All you losers out there.
What?
I just think it's funny.
losers out there?
Yeah, I just think it's funny to say stuff like that. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so that's our first song in our DJ stream tonight.
Yes, sir, Bob. Yes, sir, Robert.
I really liked the part when it was repeating nobody.
I knew you would. I was like,
how did you know?
Because you like that shit. You like the simple.
Stop with your rudeness.
How's it rude? How's that rude? You like the simple stuff. You don't like all the, I knew you were gonna catch feelings off that. I should never say that. What's up, BC? Good to see you.
Vin says the weirdest things. Like sometimes he'll be like, "You're just ignorant," and I'm like, he means that in the very like the definition of the word lacking knowledge. Most people hear the word ignorant, they're very insulted by it.
Everybody's
Probably
ignorant.
You mean something
Everybody's
different when you
ignorant
say
about
simple. I
something.
think you're like, what? You think you have a simpleton wife?
Anyway, everybody's ignorant about something, man.
I know.
There's no way you can win here.
Now I can take this. Everything I know, realize that I'm nothing I wanted to be.
lyrics are on the screen there.
Yeah, I know what. Your computer's turned,
That's because
and
of
if I straighten it, something's going to unplug, something's going to go wrong.
That's right, because we have to have everything
There,
perfect.
see? Look at Tasco. Why you call Sori a simpleton?
Oh, I mean, you knew where you were going with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I can take this, everything I know, realize that I'm nothing I wanted to be. Ooh, I can never change anything I've done because it's the only thing I have left. Blame yourself again for what I didn't do. Never even knew it was coming home for me. It was coming from me.
It changed the way I felt. The worst is yet to come because I've gone too far now. Oh, maybe he's talking about his parents. Blame yourself again for what I didn't do. It sounds like he's blame. It sounds like his parents. It sounds like his parents look at him as some sort of failure,
It could be.
and that's sort of like, oh, it's our fault that you're a failure is a pretty hurtful thing to a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like that whole thing about disappointing your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a hard thing to deal with. And it's one of those things where I don't really know exactly how that feels because I didn't get to grow up with my dad. You know, I think if I would have grown up with my dad, I would probably have a pretty big phobia of disappointing my parents.
Probably.
Because remember that time you got on the phone with my dad? It's like, this cousin's a lawyer, this
Oh my
cousin's
gosh,
a world-renowned
I know, yeah.
artist, this
Yeah.
cousin's a this cousin's a that.
Yeah.
I barely graduated high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh, I know.
Like,
yeah.
And it's not like I can brag. It's not going to say, hey, Pops, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't brag about any of
Plus,
that
I
shit.
feel like that your dad, I don't know him obviously very well, but he seems like somebody you don't want to like disappoint. Like he's very, he's nice. He feels kind of solid with
He's
the way
like
that
Dorian.
and like when I called him when we weren't going to get to go, and I was waiting for you to call him and tell him we weren't going to be going because of everything that went on. We were supposed to be taking a trip to Florida, got canceled because of COVID, because of somebody's bullshit behavior. But anyway, we're not going to go there again. But anyway, I answered the phone when he called, and he was like, so are you guys coming or not? Well, you had already said not to say anything because you were going to talk to him. And so I was like stuck in this situation where I had
Say
like...
hello?
Yeah.
Or was that the first thing?
No. He was very nice about it. He was very nice. And I just wanted to say, we can't come because of COVID. But I was like, well, Vinny said he's going to call you later. And then he was like, okay. So he kept trying to find out what was going on, and I was still trying to do what you wanted me to. But I felt like I was in a seesaw.
Yeah.
So I could see how, like, if you grew up with your dad, like, he seemed very nice. Like, I don't know.
But, well, my mom wasn't very connected to her extended family.
Right.
And, like, to this day, I don't really know the story. Like, it's kind of like a weird situation because it's like there's so many things that we just grew up like taking as whatever, and now I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of weird. Like she never grew up with her brother. She kind of got adopted by this other family, and
Yeah.
it's just weird. But
Yeah.
and then like when they all got together, like she didn't look like them. Like it was weird, but they're like they still say that they're brother and sister. It was just
I'm
weird.
sure your dad knows.
Yeah, I don't know. When I finally get to talk to him, inshallah, hopefully he can give me some insight into that. But, like, everybody's a lawyer or a doctor. Like, not a paralegal, they got to be a lawyer.
Listing off all these people, and they were all, like, these very high positions. I
Yeah,
was
they're
like,
all
wow.
doing something crazy, man. And, like, and it's not like I can say, well, Dad, here, I can't,
know.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's like, You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but
Oh, well, you may soon.
what do you mean?
Ooh, you're an entrepreneur, and
Right. Yeah, I can talk about that.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that takes off.
yeah,
That's something
yeah.
you could talk about.
Yeah, that's something about. But yeah, you know, and of course my older brother, he's part of an organization where they tell everybody what they do.
Right.
I mean, they wear that shit on their jacket.
Right.
Guys.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I see what you're. Yeah.
But like, but at the same time, like my older brother has always been like, you know, he's always been like that. He's always been like, this is my son, you know, whatever. Like I remember, like one of the few memories I have of Jamaica was my brother was in a track meet.
Yeah.
And, you know, he did I think he won like some, you know, whatever. And I just remember my dad, oh, it's my boy. And of course, I was the same way because I was like, yo, it's my bro. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now I can take this, everything I know, realize I'm nothing I want it to be. So it just looks like he's coming of age and he's realizing, like, he's not what he wanted, which is kind of a weird thing. I was watching an interview, and it's this guy. It's a YouTube channel called Soft Underbelly,
Okay.
and I almost feel. I mean, it doesn't matter now because I'm sure people are going to look at it. It's the guy's in Skid Row, and Skid Row is where a bunch of homeless people, losers are. You know, prostitutes, drug dealers, pimps, like gangbangers. Like it's a very hard place. A lot of people like. They go there and they're trying to do something and they end up on the street and they end up in Skid Row, and it's just a very like you know, hard way to live. And
What state is that?
I don't know where Skid Row. I think it's in Cali. It might be in Cali. It might be in New York. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's in Cali. But
Hey, isn't there a band, Skid Row?
yeah, there's a band Skid Row.
Yeah.
So
Los Angeles?
Wikipedia.
Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, LA. It's in California. So it's like, go there to like try to make it big, you know, hey, we're going to LA.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they don't make it big.
And then they land
just
over there?
Unplugged my
Well, that's what I thought, but then I didn't
the
see it
power
unplugged.
supply. See that? There you go. But anyway, there's drugs and prostitution, and so the guy's like, you know, what did you want to be when you grow up or whatever? And like, you know, he's looking at these sex workers or these, you know, drug addicted people. And it's horrible because like some of these people die. Like you're watching this video and then it's like so-and-so's autopsy and all this other shit. It's like, but it's it's not glorifying it. Like he's trying to help these people, but it's just a horrible way
David
to
Powers
live.
said we delivered a bunch of water and hand sanitizer, etc. there a year and a half ago.
I knew it. Yeah, he's that dude, man. He was always.
Hey, Captain Pants.
Remember I told you about Nanan and all them, like that crew. That was him. That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's been my guy from way back. But it's like, what did you want to be when you grow up? And you like see like when you were a kid, like what? It's very rare that what you wanted to be when you were a kid, you get to accomplish it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's kind of like a sad part of growing up where like people just tell you like, look, you got to accept reality. You know, you're not going to be XYZ thing. And I go back and forth on it because I'm like, yeah, but it, you know, on the one hand it's sad, but on the other hand it's like, well, if you were in Calcutta, India as a kid, you don't even get to even fantasize about being an astronaut and all the rest of it, to even have that kind of a dream, for the dream to even die in the first place. Wow,
that's interesting. I never thought of that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always go back and forth between being like, should I feel sorry for this person? But look at the state of the world and all the rest of it. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I'm listening to what you're saying. Like, I never really thought of that. I literally have never thought, oh, there's people in other places. I guess I just assumed that they also had dreams, but, wow, that's so interesting. No, carry on. I literally don't have anything to say to that because I never even thought that there was people that would be in that situation, but that makes complete sense. I guess I assumed that people would have dreams regardless because everybody has dreams. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure that everybody does. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not.
Yeah,
sure
it's
that,
not very realistic for some
you know,
people.
like
Yeah,
if you're in some really low caste in India. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dreams that you're gonna have are different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
maybe,
it's like societies. They had, like, they talked about if you were at war all the time, then those societies are not going to create things like games and different stuff. But societies that are able to have peace are able to, like, discover doing different things and stuff like that. So if you're in a lot of turmoil or you're living in a particularly hard living condition, then you're not going to have big astronaut dreams. Your dream is to get food on the table and make sure your family stays safe or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, and then I think to myself, like, this metaverse thing, it's like there's so much potential, you know, like in the next. Oh, what's good, Amy? How's your eye? It's been bugging me for like the last 48 hours. Tell me how your eye is, you dumb butt. But like, I think about the metaverse, and I'm like, I was watching this interview with Keanu Reeves. You know, he just did the recent Matrix movie or whatever. And he was talking about how he was hanging out with one of his friends. And this little girl didn't know who he was. Or what the Matrix was or whatever. And so the guy's like, explain it to her. And he was like, well, it's this virtual world. But there's a real world outside the virtual world. And so your job is to get everybody out of the... And the girl goes, well, why would you do that? The girl didn't care that the virtual world wasn't, quote, real. And her question was, why would you
take
do
them
that?
out of that world?
And I'm like, it's a very straight... And Keanu...
Well,
like,
we're obsessed with a certain version of freedom. Go ahead.
Well, it was almost like he didn't have an answer for her, almost.
Yeah.
And of course, there's Cypher, who makes the decision to go back to the Matrix. And when he goes back to the Matrix, like, he's got to deal with the agents. It's like what kind of life he's going to live and all the rest of it. And there's a lot of people that are freaking out about the metaverse. And I'm like, I feel like in the metaverse, people would be able to live out some of those dreams.
Oh, absolutely.
In a way that...
Well, I mean, people already do in some ways, you know,
What do you mean?
through like video games and stuff like that. Like, people are able to do and try out different things that they wouldn't normally have the opportunity. That's, you know, like that, remember that game that got really famous where you would like steal the car and...
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could drive like very expensive cars and stuff like that. Like, obviously, like some people, that's as close as they're ever going to get, driving one of those cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just think that the metaverse is something completely different from that because of how immersive it is. Like, because when you're
well, yeah, I mean,
Grand
every
Theft
stage
Auto,
is obviously going to be
you're outside and you know that you're outside, whereas in the metaverse you're inside the game. You're in the thing.
Yeah, but you know what? Haven't you seen people play video games where they're like friggin' gone? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, we didn't have the metaverse at that point, so you had what you had. So that's
what I'm saying. Like but
it's going to get more advanced, obviously. But
yeah, but it's to me, it's a completely different species. To me, it's like reading a picture book versus watching a movie. Like, yeah, the things are the same. You're on the outside observer and you're looking at pictures, but watching a movie and looking at a picture book are not the same thing.
Right.
And that to me is the leap between the metaverse and video games. Mm-hmm. It's going to be so immersive and the technology is going to be so crazy that people are going to be able to do all these things. And then I think to myself, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the implications are. But I do think, like, it's a weird thing to me where, like, because there's no real algorithm to who gets famous on social media and who doesn't. There really isn't. There are people that, like, work very hard on editing their YouTube videos and all that and don't come close to where we are. Mm-hmm. And there are other people that do, like, 5-minute reactions and have 5 times the amount of subscribers. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, I remember
which is obvious because there's so many people trying to get viral videos.
Yeah.
And they're doing all kinds of craziness thinking, oh, this will break the algorithm, and it doesn't.
When we first got on YouTube, there was some sort of adpocalypse and all the rest of it, and people were saying, oh, it's dead and small creators. If you're a small creator, YouTube's over for you because they were small creators and YouTube was over for them. And, you know, then there was this thing where you had to have like 5,000 subs or whatever, and you had to have 10,000 watch hours. And we had no idea that that's extremely difficult to do. Because, you know, I
thought it was 1,000.
It was no, you think you're right. It was 1,000. But we just strolled in there and just, you know, whatever. And then I would watch these videos because I was doing research on how to do this thing. Because once we decided, like, oh, we'll shoot consistently, you know, I had to do the research. And I was looking at all these small creators, and they were like, I put so much time and effort into each video. And they were doing like one video a week or something like that. And I'm like, damn, like, wow, this is really difficult. But it wasn't for us. Like, I remember I looked at the thing, we had 400 subscribers in a day or something like that. And I was like, what the hell?
That was so crazy.
I was like, what is going on? And like, so what I'm saying is, you could presumably be some bummy kid in a 1-bedroom apartment, barely keeping the lights on. But in the metaverse, you could be a massive rock star.
Right.
And you could have 400 fans because you came up with some thing on, you know, you digitally create, you know, all these bands that we listen to where they digitally create everything and they're not really playing the instrument. And you could be up there with like a metaverse guitar, rocking, having.
That's what I said. I was like,
200,000
something like Guitar Hero.
And feeling like, or Guitar Hero, like competition where you're playing in front of thousands of people and replicating that. And my point is like, okay, is that person living out a dream and did they make it? And does it still count? Does it count? Because it's not.
That is so interesting.
It's in the metaverse and it's virtual. But then when you take off the headset, you're still in your 1-bedroom apartment. You've got nothing to show for it in the quote real world. And then your parents go up to you and say, you're 35 living in this, you know, apartment with holes and everything. But then and the kid's like, yeah, but I made it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's the same as like now, you know, people will say, okay, you know, if you're filling out an application or whatever, they ask you what you do for your job or whatever, and then you know you're like an entrepreneur. Okay, well, what do you guys do? And then like, you say YouTube, and like some people look at you like, that's not.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not taken seriously. It's not like a real job. And so to a lot of people, it doesn't matter how much we would be making at this job. This doesn't qualify as like successful because it's YouTube.
Yeah, but the capital that you can generate has quote unquote real world ramifications. Like we can do things with it. We can flip the YouTube money and invest it into Amazon money. Yeah,
but some people, maybe there'll be something like that in the virtual realm too, like Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that's
something
true,
like that.
Because a kid, if he's a rock star, maybe he charges $1 a ticket.
Yeah.
And he's got 50,000 people. Some of these kids the guy probably makes $50,000 in a night from his crazy ass apartment. That's and then the question becomes, oh, okay, now you can buy a real house. And he's like, why would I do that?
Remember we watched that movie?
I can live in this world. I can live in this world, and then I can go spend 50 grand on whatever I want.
Yeah.
And now, shit, I live in my metaverse world. I've got an apartment in the meta, and people are talking about like buying like real estate, and I don't understand how that works. Like, I wish I had the time. We're spending so much time trying to launch this other business that I don't have the time to really focus on that, but I feel like we're missing out on something.
Oh, I'm sure we are, because this is like just a small example, but Sayla likes to play this game, Bloxburg, and in there, like, the houses will disappear and reappear depending on who's playing. So she has her house. When she goes in, her house appears in that world, and then there's all kinds of other houses that are around. Well, sometimes we go in and there are these ginormous houses, glass windows, big pianos, a pool, all kind in Bloxburg. And the only way that you can get that is by, well, that I know of, is to pay a bunch of money to buy that. Somebody creates it within that world and they sell it to you. And so if you don't know, like, if you don't know programming and stuff, and like, let's say you can't program to create yourself a nice house, just like people can't build a house, they have to hire somebody to build a house for them. I think it's the same thing in there. And so you buy that real estate, and then all of a sudden, if these virtual worlds get populated, then you're going to be able to sell those houses. But it is crazy to think about, because it's like, I remember when like Heyday first came out and looking on there and being like, what? People are actually spending actual money to play this game, to win, to like, you know, to harvest these fields and stuff like this. Like, why are you spending your actual money in a game? But people do it all the time. And I think it's becoming more and more, people are getting more and more acclimated to it. And then we saw that movie about that guy and the girl, and they met inside that fake world, but they were like in these shoddy little shacks. And it was, the world is getting overrun. I can't remember the name of it. The world is getting overrun, and they had to like save everything before everything exploded. You know, the typical story. But like, they had nothing. But in those worlds, they were like, well, you know, because they were smart people. And so in those worlds, they were able to, it was just about your mind. It wasn't about what you looked like, because you could create.
But then it's like, but see, that's the thing about the metaverse. It's like, what you just said, it's about your mind. It's not what you look like. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, so in the real world, I think one of the things that is responsible for our growth as a channel initially was the fact that you're a very attractive woman.
Thank you.
Right? I really
I think between that and your mind, right? It's what really.
So then the question becomes, what people become famous for now? How real is that? Like, that's a question. Like, how real is the quote-unquote real world in the first place? You've got, you know, all these media companies that are, like, for example, like this whole Joe Rogan thing. People think Joe Rogan is like some maverick or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like, Joe Rogan works for Spotify, who's owned by Google. Mm-hmm. It's the same group that owns YouTube, owns Spotify.
Yep.
So, like, YouTube's like, oh, we're taking this down. And then Spotify's like, oh, we're the real free speech people. We're keeping it. It's like Google owns both of them. So like, how real is any of this shit? And then like, you know, obviously I've had experiences where I'm like, yo, millions of people believe X, and I know for a fact that Y happened. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. So it just like really screws with you. And part of me is like, I don't know, man. I think maybe the metaverse, people living in the metaverse, maybe it's one of those things where, if you've got the mind to create something that people like, and you can manifest that in a virtual world, and then give people that experience, then that in itself is a real talent. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm like, most of the stuff that I'm looking at the metaverse, people are like, this is terrible. Mm-hmm. This is. You know, this is going to end the world. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know how terrible it is, because I know how terrible, quote, this world is. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, like, let's say these rappers who have beef with each other could kill each other in the metaverse and still live out here. Like, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, take out your, like, there's so many good possibilities of it. Like,
bankrupt them. But the thing is, I used to think of this when I was a kid. I'm like, why do we fight wars? Why don't we just play chess? And if you lose, you lose. But people revert to violence. That's what they do. So even if you killed somebody in the meta world, that probably wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, but that's because we go to war, ultimately, I don't care what people want to put on it, for resources. And because there is a finite...
An ego.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the history of human beings, the main impetus for war has always been resources.
Yeah. But individual fights, a lot of it's ego. Yeah,
but I'm talking about war. I don't care about, you know, like individual
skirmishes. Well, you brought up the guys from Chicago or rappers or whatever. Yeah, and I'm saying if they kill you in the metaverse, that might not be enough.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is on the meta level. Mm-hmm. If we're killing each other over resources, if that's been the human story.
Yeah.
There are limitless resources in a metaverse. It's not like you're going to run out of you're going to eventually run out of square footage on the planet.
Yeah.
But you'll never be able to run out, because the metaverse is all about mentation. So you can never run out of resources. It might end war as we know it. And it might be the key to, you know, my post-millennialist understanding of whatever.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
So, like, I think a lot of evil could be done with the metaverse, but I'm like, how much more evil could it be to actual flesh and blood human beings than what we've experienced in the last 500 years, or any epic in human history? Mm-hmm. But anyway, I do think that look, if you're a person who's like society looks on as a loser, you didn't, you know, And that's the other thing is like, how do we judge who's a loser and who's a winner in society? The person who's able to accumulate the most resources? Is it a person who's able to have a house? You know, we're having this discussion with one of these silly people like, how do you determine that? Who determines that?
Yeah.
And I think, like, metaverse or not, you just have to, like, if you're disappointed in yourself, you got to ask yourself, are you truly disappointed in yourself, or are you disappointed in not being able to attain to a societal structure that's imposed on you, or a parental structure that's imposed on you? Is you being a loser what you really, really feel about yourself, or is that a reaction to something else?
Yeah.
Because I think that those are two different things. Mm-hmm. So that's how I think about it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I guess I think sometimes that the people, like, sometimes I think about how much of a person's personality is real, because there's so many facets to our own personalities. So it's like, you know, some people are very good at putting forth what people want to hear. And so those people are well liked and well accepted. But are they well liked and well accepted because they're really not accepted for who they are? They're projecting what people want.
Right.
And then maybe the losers are the people that are actually, maybe they're more real because they're putting forth their real self, while their real self isn't accepted because they're not so good at putting out a false sort of. But then are they well acclimated to be able to really live in this world? But then maybe the metaverse, yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe the metaverse would be a really cool opportunity for a lot of different people because it gives you a leg up on a lot of different things. I don't know. It's the metaverse is a very fascinating thing to think about, and it could obviously, once they get that started, that can really take off. And can you imagine if pretty much everybody, you know, like all those end time movies that we used to watch, like when we got a little older, not the ones when we were kids because that was a little too advanced, but they had a lot of VR in those. Very weird. Very, very, very weird. But anyway.
Yeah. And then, you know, songs like these, people will have to find ways to determine who a loser is in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it just depends on who gets to jump on that. Yeah, DJ, those weird end time movies that I grew up on that are all
A Distant Thunder, A Thief in the Night.
Yeah. All that nonsense. What do you get the song?
I really liked it, especially when he was doing the nobody part, which I already said at the beginning.
Nobody.
9. Even 9.
I get a solid 9 myself. It had very, very good rhythm structure and all that. We are in the middle of
a DJ stream for the big homie, the Lone Rider.
Yeah,
and
even before Kirk Cameron, DJ, even before that, you got to Google Distant Thunder. You got to Google Thief in the Night. Nikolai Carpathia is going to show up all types of craziness, man. It was unbelievable. All right, guys. We're coming right back to we're coming right back at you with more metal goodness. What?
Kelby is like, you guys remind me of me and my ex-wife, only there's more love and more respect.
More love and respect.
And now he's like, firstly, for my ex-wife, God, I hate her. So am I just drumming up all that hatred again?
I'm sure you were much prettier than her ex-wife. Okay, guys, we shall return. Commercial.